Let me ask you a question. At this very moment, do you believe that life is something happening outside of you? Do you think your current situation has been shaped by chance, destiny, or the decisions of other people? If that's what you believe, then stay with me, because what you're about to hear has the power to completely transform the way you see yourself and the world around you. Today, we're beginning a different kind of journey, not one that takes you somewhere else, but one that leads you deeper into yourself. Not a search for something missing, but a discovery of what has always been within you. And I can assure you of this: if you truly absorb what we're discussing, you will never look at your life the same way again. The first principle, the foundation upon which everything else rests, is simple yet profound. Consciousness is the true source of reality. Take a moment and let that idea settle. Many people immediately resist this concept. They look around and see physical objects, familiar surroundings, and tangible experiences. They think, how can consciousness be the only reality when everything around me feels so real? But consider this. Have you ever had a dream that felt completely authentic while you were in it? A dream so convincing that you accepted it without question. Maybe you felt happiness, fear, excitement, or even physical sensations that seemed absolutely real. Yet the moment you woke up, you realized that entire experience had been created within your own awareness. What if your waking experience operates in a similar way? What you call the external world is not the source of your life. It is the reflection of your inner state. It is like a mirror showing you what already exists within your consciousness. The outer world does not define you. It expresses you. When this becomes more than a theory, when it becomes a deep conviction, you begin to understand something remarkable. Your experiences do not possess power over you unless they first find acceptance within your awareness. You are not simply observing life unfold. You are participating in its creation. You are the one giving meaning, form, and direction to your reality. This is where real power begins. Once you understand that consciousness shapes experience, a natural question arises. How does this process work? How does what exists within eventually appear in the world around us? The answer is found in what I call the law of assumption. Whatever state you consistently accept as true, whatever identity you repeatedly occupy in your imagination and feelings, eventually becomes expressed in your life. This is not about wishing, hoping, or endlessly wanting something. Those approaches keep your desire at a distance. Assumption is different. To assume something means you mentally and emotionally step into it. You think from it instead of thinking about it. You experience it inwardly as though it already belongs to you. You allow it to become your natural state. And here's something important to understand. This law does not judge. It does not decide who deserves success and who doesn't. It simply reflects whatever you consistently embody. If a person repeatedly assumes they are limited, unlucky, rejected, or unworthy, life often mirrors those expectations back to them. Not because the world is against them, but because their assumptions have quietly become the blueprint for their experiences. Most people never realize this. They spend years reinforcing beliefs they never consciously chose. Then they wonder why the same patterns continue to appear. But now you have a choice. You can deliberately select the assumptions you wish to live from. You can choose to identify with abundance instead of lack. You can choose confidence instead of doubt. You can choose love instead of fear. You can begin to see your desired future not as something far away, but as something already taking shape within you. Accept it inwardly. Remain faithful to it. Continue returning to that state, no matter what appearances suggest. Then observe how life gradually rearranges itself to reflect what you've accepted as true. Yet there is one more thing that separates those who merely study these ideas from those who experience real transformation. Thinking alone is not enough. You can spend hours talking about your goals, writing affirmations, repeating positive statements, and imagining possibilities. But if those thoughts never become a genuine state of being, very little changes. Because the universe does not respond simply to the words you think. It responds to the reality you feel yourself to be. It responds to what you feel. That is the hidden key so many people overlook. Think about a time when you were deeply in love, not simply thinking about love, but fully experiencing it. Remember how everything seemed different. The world looked brighter. Everyday moments carried a special kind of beauty. People appeared friendlier. Even a simple song felt as if it was speaking directly to your heart. That feeling didn't remain confined inside you. It influenced the way you experienced life itself. This is the same force you must learn to use consciously. When you can genuinely experience the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, when you can enter that emotional state right now, rather than waiting for some future moment, something powerful begins to happen. You activate a process that is far greater than external conditions. The feeling becomes the connection between your inner world and your outer experience. It carries your assumptions from imagination into physical expression. Without feeling, an assumption remains weak and inactive. With feeling, it gains life and momentum. So stop merely thinking about what you want. Instead, experience the emotional reality of already having it. Let that sensation fill your mind and body until it feels more convincing than anything your senses currently show you. Allow it to become your present truth. But how do you create feelings for something that has not yet appeared in your physical experience? The answer lies in the greatest creative power you possess, imagination. For most of your life, you may have been taught to dismiss imagination as something childish. Society encourages people to be practical, to focus only on visible facts, and to accept reality exactly as it appears. Yet this understanding misses something essential. Imagination is not a distraction from reality. It is the birthplace of reality. Every achievement, invention, masterpiece, and breakthrough first existed as an unseen idea within someone's mind. Before anything becomes visible in the world, it begins in the invisible realm of imagination. Your imagination is not merely entertainment. It is a creative workshop where new possibilities are formed. Whenever you imagine yourself becoming the person you wish to be, you are doing far more than daydreaming. You are constructing a new state of consciousness. And because consciousness is the source from which experience emerges, you are actively shaping the direction of your life. So use this gift intentionally. Close your eyes and step into the life you desire. Don't observe it from a distance, like a spectator watching a screen. Experience it directly through your own perspective. See what you would see, hear what you would hear, feel the atmosphere, the emotions, the details. Make it vivid, make it natural, make it feel present. Return to these inner experiences often. Build them with confidence and certainty. Trust that what is taking shape within your imagination is already setting corresponding events into motion beyond your awareness. Now let's address something that troubles many people. What about the past? What about the memories that still carry pain? The disappointments, regrets, failures, and moments that seem impossible to forget? What about the experiences that appear to have permanently shaped who you are? Here's something extraordinary to consider. You have the ability to change their influence. I'm not talking about altering historical records or changing what others remember. I'm speaking about the place where the past truly exists for you, your own consciousness. The past survives through memory, and memory is not a fixed object carved in stone. It is an ongoing interpretation that lives within your awareness. When you revisit a painful experience and consciously imagine it unfolding differently, you are not deceiving yourself. You are doing something much deeper. You are transforming the emotional meaning attached to that event. And when you change the emotional charge within your consciousness, you change the foundation from which future experiences emerge. Think about a conflict that ended badly. Revisit it in your imagination. See the conversation ending with understanding, compassion, and resolution. Feel the peace that would have followed. Experience the relief as though it actually happened that way. Think about a moment when you felt defeated or unsuccessful. Revise the scene. See yourself succeeding. Feel the confidence, satisfaction, and pride that would have accompanied the outcome you desired. By doing this, you are not escaping the past. You are freeing yourself from its grip and planting a new seed from which a different future can grow. See yourself achieving the outcome you once thought was impossible. Feel the satisfaction, the confidence, and the joy that come with it. This ability is not reserved for a select few. It is part of who you are. Within you exists a remarkable power, the ability to revisit the past and transform its influence over your life. Why remain bound by old experiences when you possess the capacity to redefine the meaning they hold? Yet this is where many people lose their way. After learning these principles, they become consumed by their desires. They visualize endlessly, repeat affirmations without pause, and hold on so tightly to what they want that their anxiety becomes stronger than their faith. Without realizing it, the dominant message they send is not confidence, but lack, and life responds accordingly. That is why understanding detachment is essential. If you wish to see your desire reflected in your world, you must release the desperate need for immediate proof. You must develop such complete trust in the process that you can relax into the certainty that what you seek is already on its way. Imagine ordering a meal at an elegant restaurant. Once you've placed the order, you don't rush into the kitchen to check on it every few minutes. You don't become frantic or demand constant updates. Instead, you enjoy the evening, engage in conversation, and remain at ease because you know your meal is being prepared. That same attitude should exist between you and your desire. Once you've accepted it inwardly, once you have experienced it as real in your imagination and feeling, stop struggling. Release the need to constantly monitor its arrival, not because it no longer matters, but because your confidence has become stronger than your doubt. This is not apathy, it is trust. It is the quiet confidence of someone who no longer questions the outcome. Ironically, it is often in this relaxed state of certainty that desires seem to arrive with the greatest ease. But do not mistake detachment for surrender. There is an important difference. Think about the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. For 6 days, he and his people continued their march around the city walls. Day after day, there appeared to be no visible progress. Nothing seemed to change. Imagine the doubts that must have surfaced. Imagine the voices saying, "This isn't working. Look at those walls. They're exactly the same." Yet Joshua continued. He did not allow appearances to dictate his faith. Then, after persistent commitment and unwavering belief, the walls finally fell. This illustrates a vital principle. Persistence is not forcing. It is not struggle. It is not exhausting yourself trying to make something happen. True persistence is remaining faithful to your assumption, regardless of what current circumstances seem to say. It is the steady confidence of someone who already knows the outcome before it becomes visible. Your present circumstances are much like those walls. They are reflections of previous states of consciousness. They reveal where your focus has been, not where your future must go. Do not let temporary setbacks convince you that nothing is happening. Do not allow disappointing news, delays, or obstacles to shake your conviction. The process is still unfolding, even when you cannot yet see it. Remain faithful to the assumption you have chosen. Keep returning to it. Keep living from it. And eventually the barriers that seem so permanent today will dissolve. Then comes something equally important, the state of rest. Not the rest that follows exhaustion, but the rest that comes from completion. In the creation story, the seventh day was not a pause caused by fatigue. It represented fulfillment. The work had already been accomplished. This is the inner state you must enter. After you have imagined your desire, felt it as real, and remained faithful to it, there comes a moment when you stop striving altogether. You rest in certainty. You stop wondering when it will happen. You stop searching for evidence. You stop questioning. Instead, you settle into the calm awareness that what you accepted within is already yours. This state naturally gives rise to gratitude. Not forced gratitude, not gratitude practiced as a technique, but genuine gratitude that emerges from the feeling of already having received. Because in consciousness, the true source of experience, it has already been accomplished. Allow yourself to enter this state of completion. Let gratitude become the final confirmation of your assumption. From this place of peace, confidence, and fulfillment, things begin to unfold naturally. There is no strain, no chasing, no struggle. Life simply starts reflecting the reality you have already accepted within yourself. Now, there is one final misunderstanding that keeps countless people trapped in situations they desperately want to escape. It is the belief that the outer world must change first before they can change internally. Nothing could be further from the truth. Many people live by a belief that quietly keeps them stuck. They tell themselves, once I have more money, I'll finally feel secure. Once I meet the right person, I'll finally feel loved. Once life improves, then I'll be happy. But this way of thinking turns the entire process upside down. The truth is far more powerful. There is a principle known as the law of reversibility. It teaches that if an external event can create a feeling within you, then that same feeling, when generated internally, can help produce the external event. Think about it carefully. Having wealth may create a feeling of abundance, yet feeling abundant first can become the very state that attracts wealth into your experience. Being deeply loved may generate feelings of worthiness and connection, yet fully embracing those feelings within yourself can become the foundation upon which loving relationships appear. The flow works in both directions. You do not need to wait for circumstances to grant you permission to feel fulfilled, confident, successful, or loved. You can choose those states now, and once you consistently embody them, they begin influencing everything around you. Stop postponing your happiness until conditions improve. Become the person you want to be internally, and watch how the outer world begins responding to that change. This brings us to the central truth behind every principle we've discussed today, the power of I am. When Moses stood before the burning bush and asked for God's name, the answer he received was simple: I am. Not a title, not a description, not a history, just those two words. And those words carry extraordinary significance because they point directly to the creative essence within every human being. Whenever you say, I am, you are making a declaration about identity. You are defining who you believe yourself to be. The words that follow become instructions to your consciousness. If you continually say, I am fearful, fear becomes familiar. If you say, I am unlucky, life often mirrors that belief. If you identify yourself as limited, limitation becomes the lens through which you experience the world. But the opposite is equally true. When you declare, I am confident, confidence begins to grow. When you claim, I am worthy of love, your relationships start reflecting that belief. When you affirm, I am capable, opportunities seem to appear where obstacles once stood. This goes far beyond simple positive thinking. Positive thinking often attempts to cover doubt with pleasant words. What we're discussing is a complete shift in identity. It is consciously aligning yourself with the creative power that shapes your experience. Whether you realize it or not, you have always been doing this. Every day, with every thought about yourself, you complete the sentence that begins with, I am. The difference now is that you can choose those words intentionally. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with something important. Understanding these ideas intellectually is not enough. Many people can explain these concepts perfectly. They can quote them, discuss them, and teach them. Yet their lives remain unchanged, because knowledge without application has little power. So begin today. Choose one state you want to embody, just one. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's abundance, maybe it's peace, maybe it's the certainty that you are deeply loved and valued. Close your eyes and step into that identity. Experience life from within it. See through the eyes of that version of yourself. Feel the emotions that person feels. Carry that state with you as you move through your day. When doubts appear, revise them. When circumstances seem to challenge your assumption, remain faithful to it. When impatience tries to pull you away from your vision, return to inner stillness and trust. Most importantly, pay close attention to the words that follow, I am. Those two words are among the most powerful expressions available to you. They shape perception, influence identity, and direct the course of your experience. Use them with intention. Use them with confidence. Use them with full awareness of their creative power. You are not a powerless observer drifting through a world beyond your control. You are the one choosing the meaning of your experience. You are the consciousness through which life is interpreted and expressed. Nothing gains authority over you unless it first receives acceptance within your awareness. And your awareness belongs entirely to you. That is your freedom. That is your creative power. That is the inheritance that has always been yours. So step forward and claim it. Allow your consciousness to expand beyond old limitations and embrace everything you have ever dreamed of becoming. You have never been separate from the creative force you seek. It has always lived within you. This is Neville Wisdom Library. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you again in the next video.